All right, so I'm back because I wanted to start a new video when we're starting step 4. So we're going to open the file. So again, I've created the folder, I've downloaded the zipped file that I need. I have opened the index file using Chrome, and now I'm going to open the index file using a text editor and view those tags. So if I go back to my files, and right click on index.html, I should be able to open. Now I have both VS Code and Sublime Text available right away. You may have to choose open with and then go find the text editor that you have downloaded. You will need to download one at some point, unless of course you're using the machines at school that already have a few available there. If you already have a text editor available, you can either go to open with here, or you can drag and drop it usually onto the text editor, and that's fine. Right now we're only using this file. In the future, we'll eventually open the whole folder at once and look at it in a text editor. But right now we're only looking at the index.html. So I'm going to open it in VS Code. And in VS Code, so I'm looking at opening the folder in a text editor and viewing the script and link tags. So I'll give you a brief rundown of what we have going on here first. So the index.html, or any HTML file, let's try that again, any HTML5 file, that's the version we're using now, will have this bang doc type HTML tag at the top. That's just telling the browsers that we're running HTML here. That's all that you need to do there. You don't even need to know it. Just it will be at the top of each file. Get rid of that. And it should be line 1 on every file that we have in this class. On line 2, we're just telling the browser, again, what language we're using. And in this class, we'll only be using English. In 3 through 8, we have the head tag, or the head part of the HTML file. And in the head, we have more tags. So we have nested tags inside the head. We have nested the meta, just telling it what code language or what, yeah, sure, what coding we're using, what we might want to link to, what files we might want to link to, and a title. Now, did you notice, or do you notice, that this title here is the same as what showed up, let me move that, what showed up on our tab? Well, that's because that's what happens there. So I would go ahead, it's not part of your instructions, but it is something that I wanted to show you. I want you to kind of play around with. Notice that we have a title tag in the beginning. We have what's called an end tag. So the opening tag just has the less than and greater than signs around it. And then that's a keyword inside there. So you need the word title there. At the end is a closing tag. It has, again, the less than, or those are called angle brackets, by the way. The less than and greater than are called angle brackets. So you have an angle bracket. You have now the slash saying this is going to close, or this is going to end one of the tags, and then the keyword again. So we have the title opening tag, the title closing tag, and between there is the text that is written on this tab. Don't be confused. Tag and tab are two different things. Okay, but let's go ahead and fix this because exercise was not spelled correctly. So I made a change just by going in between the X and the E and getting rid of that C, just typing on my keyboard. I actually hit backspace, I think, on my keyboard. But notice now in VS Code that I have this little blue 1 that showed up over on the top left. And that just means that I need to save some changes, or I've made some changes on this file that have not yet been saved. So I will generally do that just by hitting Control S, but you can go to File and go down to Save instead. And that's all we needed to do with the head. So Now that we've done that, though, let's come over to our Chrome and refresh this and notice that our file still isn't working. Our website still doesn't work. But at the top, you do have the CIS 152 exercise spelled correctly in the tab now. So let's come back over. So that's all there is in the head, and that's, most of the time all that we're going to have in the head here. It might become more complicated than it is, but that's generally what we're going to have. And then we have the body section, or the body part of our HTML. And in our body, nested in our body, we have now a div that creates a container. We're going to have an image inside that container. Here is the closing tag. So notice we opened the div on line 10, we closed the div on line 12. Often we'll do that. We'll have a lot of things inside the tags, and we'll be sure to close all of them, or close as many as were opened, of course. And also notice how the indentation is starting out here. So we're indenting anything that's nested inside something else. That will help us keep organized. Just keep that in mind. But also do notice that on line 11, we have an image tag, and we also have this up here above in the meta and the link tags. But we have some tags that actually don't have closing tags. Just keep in mind that sometimes that's going to happen. But it will be specific tags that don't need to have image, or don't need to have closing tags. The IMG tag is something that you will become quite familiar with, and also the div tag. So you're gonna know those, and you're gonna know which ones need to be closed and which ones don't have to be. And then finally, we have a script tag, and the script tag will refer us to, or will link to, connect to any programming that you have behind this. We'll be using a little bit of JavaScript this semester. And then finally, we close the body, and we close the whole HTML. So that HTML was started on line 2 and now ends on line 15. Okay, so that's basically the code that we have. We've already changed the title. Now let's look at what the actual assignment is.